Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and the mini set for Hearthstone, the Heroes of StarCraft, is releasing today. We're gonna do a tier list on every single card, rating them S through F. It'll be our largest mini set tier list ever because there's the most cards ever in the mini set. So we're gonna do that. I want to announce the 4 giveaway winners for 4 mini sets out of my pocket. They have been contacted. We hit 90,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And when we hit 90K, we got to do something. So we're going to add a bonus giveaway. 1 Kerrigan Mythic Portrait out of my wallet. This obscene, expensive thing. I will give one away to celebrate 90,000. To enter that giveaway, like and comment in this video down below. Be subscribed to the channel, and we're on the road to 100,000. We're on the road to 100K, so every 1,000 subs, we managed to hit that. We're gonna announce a winner when I get back from France next week. I will add another Kerrigan. That's right, we're gonna go crazy. It's like really legit make me go broke, so get in there if you want to. And a reminder, I will be streaming this mini set launch live when it's going on at 10 a.m. Pacific. Should be like 1 p.m. Eastern. Is that like 6 or 7 p.m. CET? I'll post it there. Want to come hang out, twitch.tv/Zeddy. Gonna buy all the cosmetics, do all the things, play a bunch of stuff, and try and get as much gameplay footage before I leave for France tomorrow. So hopefully you can come and drop by. But yes, let's take a look at the tier list, and we're gonna have to try and speed run this thing because there's a lot of cards. So first we have the Protoss hero card, Artanis, 7 mana, gain 5 armor, you summon 2 3/4 Zealots with charge. They're 3 mana minions if you bounce them, which is relevant. Your Protoss minions cost 2 less this game. There's not a ton of Protoss minions, but you also get that upgraded hero power where you give your hero Divine Shield, a minion Divine Shield, and they get a temporary attack buff for that turn. The Divine Shield sticks around. I feel like this is a card, 7 mana, basically Leroy with a better hero power. You could just run for the card alone. Plus, I know I'm skeptical on a lot of the stuff going on this mini set, but this is just an insane card. I'm gonna rate it S for sure. Like, it's going to see play whether Protoss is amazing or not. In particular, Druid, I'm looking at a certain pylon card that can get that out really fast with ramp, which could be really good. So yeah, I'm giving it an S, and we're gonna have a few S's as we go along. Next, we have the Baneling Barrage, the 1 mana Deathlight spell. Get a 1/1 Baneling that explodes. If you control a Zerg minion, get another Baneling. So as long as you have a Zerg minion on the board, you get another 1/1, which you could buff up with other cards. It's weird though, right? 1 mana, get maybe 2 1/1s. Good with the hero card we'll take a look at later. I just don't feel like there's enough Zerg stuff for Deathlight. I'm not entirely sold on it, but it's one of the better cards. You get 2 cards for 1. The Death Rattle on the minion's pretty good. Makes Sergeant Sally really sad. I'll give it a B. But yeah, a lot of stuff I'm like, really, I just don't know. Next, we have Blink, the 2 mana rogue spell. Draw Protoss minion. Combo, it costs 2 less. There's only really 2 Protoss minions for rogue. They have the Archons thing and then the mech that they can draw. So you're gonna get one of those, and you want to discount it. You want to tutor it. I feel like Protoss rogue is gonna be too slow when you have Shafar rogue and Weapon rogue, but it's a decent card. You tutor out that specific minion. If it's gonna work, it'll be a part of it. I'll give it a B, but probably should give it a C. We have the Brood Queen, a neutral Zerg minion. At the end of your turn, get a larva that transforms into random Zerg minions. It's just like a 1/1 Shifter Xeris for Zergs. Not bad. You get 2 Zergs out of 1 card, and if this lives for a bit longer, you get more value, and there's not a lot of Zergs out there. I think this would be unplayable in most world, but there's just not a lot of Zerg cards, and you really need as many Zerg minions as possible, so I'll give it a B. Like, it's kind of has to see play if Zergs are going to see play. We have the Carrier minion for Druid, 12 mana at the end of your turn. Summon 4 4/1 interceptors that attack random enemies. It's a 2/14, it's a mech. Dungar could pull it. That's what I'm thinking is gonna end up happening. There is another Druid minion to like try and cheat out, but it feel like by the time this gets going, Druid can just play Dungar. Are they just gonna do that, right? Like, I don't know. Again, I'm gonna give it a B for the Dungar ability. I just don't know if you're playing a straight up Protoss Druid deck, but then again, the synergies going along with like cheating out your hero card fast, and it might just work out. So I think it could see some play. We have Chrono Boost, 4 mana Protoss spell, draw 2 Protoss cards, summon a 3/4 Zealot with charge. You can prep this, you can pile on it. You're drawing 2 cards. Remember Corcoran Elite was just a 4-mana 4/3? You played that. You played that card, and this is like that, and you draw 2 cards, and you can cheat it out, and you're tutoring specific things. Really solid. I'm gonna give it an A. If any Protoss deck sees play, they're playing that card 100%. We have the Colossus, 12 mana, 9/4 Protoss mech, 4 mage, Battle Cry, deal 1 damage to all enemies twice. It's improved by Protoss spells. You cast this game. There's not a ton of Protoss spells. This is literally the only mage minion we're cheating out. So if you're playing Protoss mage, you're play Colossus, it might work. Like, again, it's like Denathrius kind of without the lifesteal. It can be a win con. I just feel like it's probably going to be a bit too slow. I'll go to C. I don't think it happens. I feel like it's the one people want to make work the most is mage, but I'm not sold on it after seeing everything. But again, totally could be wrong. We have Concussive Shells, 1 mana, Terran Warrior card, deal 2 damage and gain 2 armor. Your next Starship launch cost 2 less. This card could just be good as a standalone card, plus the mana cheat it gives on Starships, plus Warriors already playing Starships these days without having a payoff of any sort, right? Armor stuff, I'm gonna give it an S. I think it's a really solid card that could literally see play in non-Starship decks. We have Construct Pylon, 0 mana, Druid spell. Your next Protoss card this turn costs 2 less. So it's basically a prep for your Protoss cards. It could be a spell, a hero card, a minion. It's a 0 mana card that cheats mana, and it might be the reason just to play the hero card in Druid with a couple other Protoss cards, and you cheat that out. That's insane. A 0 mana card that cheats mana is going to get an S from me every day of the week until I am proven wrong. Consume a Warlock Zerg card that removes 1 durability from a friendly location to restore 8 health to your hero. There's like 1 location you really want to break, the one that we'll talk about later, and well, actually both in the set you can break, but it's so narrow. The healing's great, but the narrow usage of this card I just don't think is enough. But this is a card that can actually get better over time with more locations, more location synergies. That could happen in the future, but for now it's getting a C. I won't give it an F because it's got a future usage, but right now it's looking pretty rough. We have Creep Tumor. Your Zerg minions have +1 attack and rush this last 3 turns. It's 2 mana. Demon Hunter card. If they're going to work in Demon Hunter, you're going to play this card. You get an attack buff on those Zerg minions. They get rush right away. One of the minions literally has to have rush to be any good. I just feel like they're probably going to play other aggressive decks instead, but I'll give it a low B because that effect can be pretty good. We have the first of the Templars for Rogue, the Dark Templar, 6 mana stealth, Battle Cry, destroy an enemy minion, so you get to pick that minion. You don't even need to combo, and you play into another Templar, merge into an Archon, which is like this 8 mana 8/8 that deals 8 to the face, 2 to minions, all minions. Pretty crazy card. Feels a bit convoluted, feels a bit slow for Rogue. I know we have the nerf to Ethereal Oracle, but Shafar Rogue is arguably better. Weapon Rogue is really gross, and I don't see that competing with it. So for now, I'm giving the Templars a C. Evolution Chamber, give your minions +1 attack, give your Zerg an extra +1/+1. This is a 2 mana Hunter Zerg spell. Hunter looks probably the strongest of the Zerg classes, but again, there's not a ton of Zergs, and this card really sucks unless you hit a Zerg. So we'll see. I'll give it a high B. It's probably got the most chance of the Zerg cards, but again, there's only so many things to hit. We have Ghost, which is the Terran neutral card, so able to be used by the 3 Terran faction classes. 4 mana 6/2 with stealth. Battle Cry, if you're building a starship, destroy the lowest cost card in your opponent's hand. Pretty scary in Shaman in particular with Shutter Block. You could literally delete like, 6 cards with 2 of these. Just destroy their hand if you're building a starship, and Shaman does have that. And for that reason, I think it could see play, and it's really a card that's just, why are they making it? It's toxic if it's good, it's useless if it's bad. Modern Hearthstone design lately. We have Grunty, the card I gave a 4. 8 mana 3/4 Murloc, Battlecry, summon 4 random Murlocs, and then shoot them at enemy minions. You pick the targets. It'd be insane if you could hit Cookie. You might hear possibly later today. You can't, just speculating. So that makes the card a lot worse than I already thought, or most people thought. I thought it'd be good. I just saw full on Copium. I think a card like this, if it's good, is good for Hearthstone. But yes, it's 8 mana, get probably crappy stats it's not enough in today's game. I've gone from giving it a 4 out of 5 to it's not going to see any play. I don't think it actually is at this point. I've gone full circle. I'm giving it an F. I'm sorry, Grunty. I love you, but I'm destroying you now. And now I'll be wrong one way or the other, right? You'll either be good or terrible. So I'm playing both sides. We have Hallucination, the 1 mana pre-spell. Summon a copy of a friendly Protoss minion. It takes double damage. People already theorizing like combos with the Zealot and like Vol'jin and Ceaseless Expanse, which is just ridiculous. But I think just copying the Mothership or your Death Rattle card to get like the mana cheat could be really good. I'm actually sold on Protoss Priest, believe it or not. I'm giving this an A. I think the card really insane for 1 mana for the amount of value and what you can do in a priest deck. We have Hellion, the Paladin like payoff for Starship decks. A 4 mana 4/4 mech, your other minions a +1 attack, which is terrible. But if you played 1 Starship this game, your other minions have +2 attack and rush, which is really nuts. Getting an attack buff on the board, plus giving everything rush, super strong. Compare that to Houndmaster Shaw, so much better, and you can run 2 of these. I'm giving it an A. I think it is a really strong card, and I am sold on like the Jim Raynor Paladin. I think it's gonna be a thing. We have High Templar, the other Templar for Rogue, probably worse. 6 mana 3/5 Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all enemies. Again, if you have 2 Templars on the board, they'll merge together to make the Archon. You get a bit of an AoE, it's fine, but I feel like Rogue is doing other stuff, so I will give it a C. I've apparently mispronounced this every time, so let's try it better this time. The Hydralisk? I don't know. I don't know. 3 mana 4/2 Zerg minion, Battlecry, deal 2 damage to random enemy, which is, you know, okay. Repeat for each other Zerg minion control, so you could theoretically do a ton of damage if you have a full board. But again, all the Hunter Zerg cards require other Zerg cards to be good, and I just don't know if it's there. But again, if it is, it'll work, because this is a pretty good card if there's enough for it. So I'll give it a B. I'm not entirely sold. Druid has another minion here, the 7 mana 5/8 mech, so you can really discount this stuff in the the Protoss faction. It is Taunt, Divine Shield, and Battlecry. Spend 4 mana to double this minion's stats. So if you have 4 mana left over, you'll spend it, and you'll get like a 10/16, which is pretty good. But big minions die to like everything, and it probably doesn't get going fast enough, even with like ramp and pylon and all that stuff, to be effective. I am going to give it a C. We have the Infestor, the Death Knight, Zerg minion, 3 mana 3/2 Death Rattle. Your other Zerg minions have +1 for the rest of the game, so it's got an aura effect. You can like Yodeler this and get even more value out of it. But again, there's only so many Zerg minions. I don't know. It's hard to evaluate. I'll give it a B because the effect is okay, but at the end of the day, I'm playing a 3 mana 3/2. It's not amazing. We'll see. Maybe I mosh pit it and it feels incredible, but then I need the corpses. I could grave the 1 mana spell, and then it's amazing. I don't know. We'll see. Again, not entirely sold. We have Jim Raynor, the Terran hero card, 7 mana, gain that 5 armor, Battlecry, relaunch every starship that you launch this game. This does not count towards Thor, to keep that in mind. I also believe if you launched one with the Exodar, Jim Raynor will not relaunch that because you didn't launch it. The Exodar relaunched it. You also get that 2 mana hero power of give your Terran minions +2 attack. You get that 2/2 becomes a 4/2. A lot more narrow of a hero card, but that hero power, if you have a Terran deck like Paladin in particular, which I am sold on, will be really good. Like, you have to kill everything every turn or you will blow up. I will give it a low A. Hero cards pretty much always see play, but because it's so narrow that, yeah, it might be one of those that actually doesn't work out. This one, however, Kerrigan, Queen of Blades, the Zerg hero card, 7 mana, 5 armor, Battlecry, summon 2/5 Brood Queens, deal 3 damage to all enemies, so you get an AoE, you get board presence, you get some value, then you get that hero power that deals 3 damage and improves for every Zerg minion you control. That's a ton of damage. This could be run as a standalone card for that AoE, for that board presence, for that value, and the better hero power in a lot of situations. Might be the best card of the entire mini set. It gets an S from me. We have the Lift Off, 3 mana, Terran spell, draw 2 Terran cards, summon a 2/1 Starship piece when launched. They have a ton of effects. We'll show them there. It's not bad. You're drawing 2 cards. You're getting a Starship piece to get your Starship going, and that's pretty good. It just kind of wish those 2/1s activated when they died, but that'd probably be OP. But yeah, this is a really solid card, and we'll go with the other draw cards that you're certain playing. It gets an A. We have Lock On, which looks like a Hunter spell, but it's really a Shaman spell. Offset a minion's health to 1. Your next Starship launch costs 1. It's just Hunter's Mark, right? With an upside, no tribe or spell school or whatever. Not bad. If you're playing Starship Shaman, you're playing it, and you might even play it as a removal card anyways, like the Magma card. It's pretty good, right? So we'll give it a B. We have the Lurker. After a friendly minion attacks, deal 1 damage to a random enemy, or 2 if your minion is a Zerg. This is a Demon Hunter Zerg minion, 4 mana, 2/6. Pretty hard to remove, and if you have any decent board, that is a lot of damage. I just look at Druid that likes to sit around, not do much. You have a board, you play Lurker, they can't kill this. It's got 6 health. They blow up. Could be a good card against those slower decks, punishing them. And yeah, like it works with regular minions too to an extent. So I'll give it a B. I think people are sleeping on that one a little bit, in my opinion. We have the Missile Pod, 2 mana, 1/3 mech Starship piece for Shaman. Battlecry, deal 1 damage to all enemies. Also triggers on launch, so you're getting a 1 damage AoE that goes face. Remember Sandstorm Elemental? That overloaded you and just hit minions. Like, this is a really good standalone card and a decent Starship piece. So yeah, again, I'll give it a B. I think I could see some meta play. Actually, I'm gonna bump it up to an A. I just think that for a 2-drop, it's a really good effect. It just really is. We have the Mothership, Priest Minion, Epic, the only Epic of the set. 12 mana, 10/10 mech. It has Taunt, Battlecry, and Death Rattle. Get 2 random Protoss minions. This is a Protoss card. There's not very many Protoss minions. Most of them, they're going to cost a ton less because you're going to cheat out a lot of stuff playing Protoss Priest, and you can very easily copy this card up with like Creation Protocol. You're going to resurrect it with that like 3 mana spell and get much value, and those cards you're generating are damage cards for the most part, right? Druid Priest or Druid Rogue Mage, they're good minions. I'm giving this an S. I think Priest is going to be the best Protoss class. I might be wrong. This is definitely my boldest take, but I also need to win with Priest at the Invitational. So maybe I'm like really on full copium, but I do think Priest can utilize what Protoss wants to do more than any of the Protoss classes. We have the Mutalisk, 4 mana, 5/2 Demon Hunter minion. It also damages minions next to whomever attacks and the enemy hero. If a neighbor is missing, it can only go face once. So if it hits for 5 and there's nothing to the left or right, it will hit for 5. If there's the 1 minion, it won't hit for 10. And this card really needs rush. There's plenty of ways to give it, but I feel like this card's terrible. I'm giving it an F. Any card you have to work for in like really hard and your opponent needs to have a specific board state, they just never see play. It just doesn't happen. We have Nidus Worm, a 3 mana Zerg spell for the whole faction. Draw 2 Zerg cards. They cost 1 less. It's intellect with mana cheat built in. If Zerg decks are going to flourish, again, it'll be this card. I'm giving this one an S. I think it's better than the other draw ones because it's got mana cheat. And mana cheat good, especially when you're playing a more aggressive style. We have the Photon Cannon, a Protoss neutral spell, 2 mana, deal 3 damage. If this kills a minion, your Protoss minions cost 1 less this game. There's just not a ton of Protoss minions to hit, but you want these this Protoss spell for Mage. It's just a fine card. I think it'll see some play, but again, more of the middling style of card. We have Resonance Coil for Mage, 3 mana spell that deals 5 damage only to a minion. You get a random Protoss spell. So this is a Protoss spell itself. It can't create itself, but it fuels the whole like style of Mage. If it's gonna work, you're gonna play this card, right? But I'm not sold it's gonna work, so I'm gonna put it with that 12 mana guy because I don't think there's any other reason to play this card other than fueling that big minion. We have the Roach, which is again another Hunter Zerg card that needs another Zerg to be good. It's a 2 mana 2/2. When you draw this, get a copy of it. Battlecry, if you control another Zerg minion, gain +1, +1/+2. So tempoing it out by itself sucks. And apparently the draw card we just looked at, if the mana cheat does not count on this card, you will draw it first, then it costs less. So then the one copy will have the minus mana. You know, if 100 is going to work, it's good because of this card and the whole package. I'm not super sold on it, but I'll give the whole package a B. Maybe, just maybe, as a chance. We have Salvage the Bunker, 3 mana Paladin spell, summon 2/2 Marines with Taunt. Your next Starship launch costs 2 less. You get 2 bodies on the board. Good with Jim Raynor, discounting your Starship. Again, I'm sold on Paladin. I will give this a B. I don't think it's as strong as some of the other cards they have, but I do think Paladin will see play. We have SCV, the 1 mana 1/3 Terran card. Battle Cry, your next Starship launch costs 1 less. If you're playing any Starship deck in the Terran faction, this is an auto include. I'll put it with the draw cards. They're not going to win the game on their own, but they're really good support cards, and you should see plenty of it. We have the Sentry for Priest, 2 mana 2/2 lifesteal. Death Rattle, your Protoss minions cost one less this game. You want everything you can to get your mothership going, and this card in itself, not amazing stat-wise, whatever, but that Death Rattle matters. You can copy it. You can get more of them. I'll give it a B. I think it fuels that Priest deck. It helps it a little bit, but it might be something that ends up getting cut. We have Shield Battery, Mage Protoss spell. You gain 6 armor for 2 mana. Your next Protoss spell costs 2 less. The best of the Mage cards. You could maybe consider running it on its own because it gives you armor, which is nice. But yeah, I'll put it slightly above the other Mage cards. But again, I'm not entirely sold on that archetype. The Starship payoff card for Shaman, the Siege Tank, deal 10 damage to a random enemy, transform if you launched a Starship this game, and basically the transform version, the excess, will go face. You can't reliably target what hits. It could just kill something really small. Starship Shaman, maybe it happens, but I really don't think they play this card. I will give this a low C. We have Spawning Pool, get a 1/1 Zergling, Death Rattle. Your Zerg minions have Rush this turn. It's got 2 durability, it's 1 mana, really nice card. You could arguably run this on its own without being like a dedicated Zerg deck. I want to give it like an S2. Like, it's just a really solid little card that gives you board presence, some rush. It's really quite nice, and all the Zerg classes can play it. We have Spine Crawler, 2 mana 1/6 Warlock Zerg minion, the aggressive Zerg archetype that has Taunt, can't attack, has +3 attack to control location. So not a 3/6, it's a 4/6, but it can't attack. It's just crap. Like, I just can't see the scene play until there's some crazy location stuff, and even then you probably never play it. I will give this an F, unfortunately. We have the Starport, a 2 mana 2 durability location for the Terran faction. Summon a 2/1 Starship piece with an effect when launched. So you get 2 Starship pieces out of it. You get some bodies on the board. It's okay. I'm not in love with this one, but it might see a bit of play to fuel those Starships, and you really want to launch quite a few, so just getting this going could be all right. So again, we will give it a B. We have Thor, which for some reason transforms, even though it could literally start. Let's just go straight to explosive payload, because what doesn't change how the card functions. It's an 8 mana 8/8 mech. Battle Cry, deal 5 damage, and it just should read this: repeat at a random enemy for each Starship you've launched this game, because the only way to transform this card is to launch a Starship. So it's like, why does it transform? As Ridiculous Hat said, transforming is cool, and we can live with that. Overall, could deal a bunch of damage. It's slow. It doesn't work with Jim Raynor, unfortunately, or I believe the Exeter, or Executor, or whatever. I never say it right. Probably doesn't make the cut when you could just probably play Odin. And the Starship stuff, if it works, I feel like you're not playing this with it. You're playing other stuff. And I do think Starship Warrior will be good. I just don't think they play Thor. We have the Ultra Capacitor, 2 mana 1/1 Starship piece mech for Paladin, which gains +1/+1 for each other friendly minion and triggers on launch. It will not retain that buff when it's launched. However, it will, look at the board and see what's going there. It just needs friendly minions, not Terran minions. Very relevant. Paladin likes to go wide, and I think it will work. I think it'll work. I'm going to give this one a B as well. And we have the Ultralisk Cavern, which is a 3 mana 3 durability location for Warlock. Deal 1 damage to all enemies, so really weak AoE effect for 3 mana. You do get 3 uses across like a bunch of turns, which isn't great. Death Rattle, summon an 8/8 with Rush. Like, that's good, but it doesn't happen to like what, turn 7? If you haven't broken a durability, turn 5 then, and it's so slow. It's so slow. I have to give it an F. I don't see it happening. Like, unless they make more cards that synergize with destroying your location in the future, I'm not twisting nethering this, okay? It's not good enough. We have Viper, 4 mana, 5/3, Death Knight Zerg minion, Battlecry, summon a minion from your opponent's hand. Your other Zerg minions gain reborn and attack it. On paper, incredible card. Take a card out of your opponent's hand, probably kill it while buffing your stuff, but there's so few Zerg minions for Death Knight that are like tempo and really like proactive. I just feel like it's not going to work in Death Knight, and I haven't been super sold, but standalone the card might just be good disruption, and maybe you just play a couple Zergs to go with it. I don't know. I'll give it a B because it does have some disruption capabilities as like a standalone card, but my goodness, yeah, not entirely sold. We have the Void Array, which is 3 mana, 3/1, Protoss minion, the only neutral one, which is super important. Rush and Divine Shield, Battlecry, this costs 0, gain +2/+2. Pretty easy to get to 0. Initially, I rated this pretty poorly until I realized it's the only Protoss minion, neutral. You just need this to fill your curve in Protoss decks to have Protoss cards to play. I think it's a B, right? And with Rogue, you get like Breakdance and Shadow Step and basically clear the board for no mana. Although I don't think Rogue is going to work out like that. Maybe after rotation, that's a thing if Shadow Step. Well, Breakdance is leaving, which means Shadow Step is definitely not leaving. But you know what I mean. I'm just dreaming one day it'll go away. You've got Warp Gate, 4 mana, basically Protoss location for those Protoss classes. Your next Protoss mini costs 3 less. I could see this working in Priest, particular, get that mothership out, and then you could bring it back and do other things, maybe in Druid, maybe if the Rogue thing were, like if any of those big mini decks work, they kind of need at least one of these, so I'll give it a B. I'm just, again, not super sold on Protoss outside of Priest. With the Yamato cannon, the Yamato, I don't know how to say it, apparently I butchered it last time. 4 mana, 3/3 mech, Starship piece, Battlecry, destroy a random enemy minion. It triggers on launch. This is Warrior. I think you just play this for defensive removal. More Starship pieces for Warrior. It's a mech, and you can bring it back, right? It's just a pretty good effect. Run and Strike was 5 mana. I know things have changed a lot, but I could see it seeing play, so we'll give it a B. And then lastly, we have the final Zerg neutral minion, really good one, Zergling, 1 mana, 1/1, Battlecry. Summon a copy of this. Can be played by any Zerg faction. Good early game, good on the board in any of those classes. Could be played as a standalone minion. It's like an alley cat or whatever. And who knows, Shafar. You can get double buffs with your Shafar and play any of the Zerg classes like Shafar Rogue. Maybe you attach it to a charger there or something, right? Remember, Shafar's around and it does double dip on these cards. I will give this an S. I think it's a really solid card. So in a vacuum, these cards, not the worst. A lot of mid, a lot of B, and some really looks like bad cards, but it's really going to be, can these cards function with only each other for the most part? We'll find out later today when that mini set launches, 10 a.m. Pacific. I will be streaming over at twitch.tv/Zeddy. If you want to hang out, check out the day one stuff before I leave for France tomorrow. So not a lot of time for me to get stuff done, but hopefully you guys can come hang out. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.